welcome to the Devonshire Diz. Today, I have a fellow Devonian with a passion for Disney parks, cruises, and so much more. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the Devonshire Diz. For those who are new, my name's Adam, and today I'm joined by a very special guest, Kristi from Our Braden Adventures. How are we doing?
Hi, good, thank you. How are you?
Good, yeah, not too bad, thank you. Speaking of good, I saw at 5 o'clock today a little bit of sunshine still, and that makes me excited for spring and summer.
I know, I'm so ready for the sun.
We've had a torrid few weeks, haven't we?
Yeah, it's been awful. I'm really excited just to have some sun on my face. I'm one of these people that is so happy when the sun is on my face, and I'm ready for the spring.
Definitely. I think it might hopefully be around the corner, given that we're getting a little bit lighter of an evening.
Yeah.
I love it. See, I have to start off the podcast in a traditional British way by talking about weather.
About the weather, of course. What else would that and a cue? Anything else?
Exactly. And Kristi, could you tell the viewers whereabouts in the UK you reside?
I live in Exeter, in Devon, not far from yourself.
Devon. We've got another Devonshire dweller. Are you Devon born and bred?
Yes, yeah, I was born here.
Good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Was that Exeter?
Yes, Exeter, yeah. I've been here my whole life. When I met my husband, I lived in London with him for a really short period of time. But otherwise, yeah, always here.
And the Westcountry pulled you back, eh?
It did, yeah.
Excellent. Good stuff. Good to talk to a fellow Disney Devonshire dweller. There are a few of us, I'm finding, throughout doing this podcast and speaking on Instagram. There are certainly a few in the West Country.
Yeah, I remember when my brother said that he came across you, and I was like, that's so crazy. You live like 2 seconds away from each other.
Yeah.
And yeah, like all Disney fans. They're everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. You just dropped your brother. The name drop is Adam Kuma. And fellow Disload listeners will know who Adam Kuma is. So it was just, like you said, shocking to find that there was not only just a DVC member living across the road, but like seeing all the similarities that we've had of the way we've grown up with Disney and the holidays we've been on and so on and so forth, and just the passion for it all. Obviously now we're co-host with the Disload podcast, and he's jumped on here and we'll jump on here in the future as well. So it's been great to connect. And obviously we've had some great conversations over the interweb through Instagram and so on and so forth. So it's just great to see there's so many local people that have that same drive and passion for Disney as myself and Lauren does.
Yeah, because you think it's such a niche, don't you? You think like when I speak to people that I work with or like close friends, they don't all get the magic. And, like sometimes it's really nice when you find someone else that you can just talk about the magic with. And that's like why I did my Instagram, was because it was just so nice to like have other people that are as crazy about it as we are. And I kind of feel like sometimes I've given up now explaining to people like why it's so magical, because I know it is, and I don't need to tell everyone about it anymore. I just want to talk to people that like it, and that's it.
Yeah, definitely. You say that the other week I was walking down the hallway and someone just randomly walked past me and said, "Oh, you've got a Disney tattoo. That looks really cool." And it just sparked like an hour conversation about both of our just like mad fanatic about Disney films and Disney parks and so on and so forth. So there's certainly a few more hiding out there, but we'll find you. We will find you. Yeah. We'll have that 2-hour conversation with you. Don't worry about that. So take us back to the start. Where did Disney enter your life, and where did it first grab you?
My mum. Even like from when I was so little, we went. If it wasn't to California, because we had family over there, so I remember at a really young age doing Disney California, and then my parents took my mum and dad took us for our first time to Walt Disney World, and yeah, we grew up going. We were so fortunate that we went quite a lot, and just all of my childhood favorite holiday memories were Disney based, and and it just carried on really.
When was the first year you headed over to the parks?
California, I don't know. I was really young. I think it was Walt Disney World must have been 2000 maybe.
Cool.
ish. Yeah, I can't remember exact dates, but I do remember we went over the millennium, so I remember we were there for then.
A great time to head over.
Yeah, so yeah, I think it was amazing. But yeah,
that's when Epcot had that just oversized Mickey arm over the top of it, and had a parade as well, alongside Illuminations. What a great time to be alive.
Yeah, and Animal Kingdom was still really fairly new as well at the time. Yeah. I was like, and there's a picture of me and my dad and my brother and sister when we were by the gorilla in the Tree of Life. You know, there's the big gorilla when you're going in. It's tough to be a bug.
Yeah.
And I keep trying to get my children to retake the photo because I just love that we've got like a photo of me when I was little and then one of them there as well.
Awesome. Oh, that's a great little memory. Have you been able to get them to pose yet, or are they just running chaos?
But then they're not. It's not wall worthy. All right, they're just not like it's not quite what I wanted, but it's there for me anyway.
Great stuff. That's awesome. It just goes to show it's timeless, doesn't it? Right? Like I remember going as a child in the 90s, yourself in 2000s, and obviously now growing up, our kids are going as well and loving the same sort of stuff that we did. And it doesn't matter if it's, say Small World, which has been there all of our lifetime, or something brand new that we're going to experience. It's magical to see their faces light up as much as we did when we were their age.
Yeah, and it's like it's a totally different dynamic. Like my mum went before she had us, and then she took us, and then now I'm taking my children, and it's like so lovely to go through the stages. Like my children now, when I first took them, I went back to doing all the little, like you said, it's a small world, all the tiny little nuggets of the park that I didn't do during my teens and early adults because I was all for the rides at that point and the parades, but not necessarily the smaller rides. And it was so nice with them to go back to do the smaller rides. And on our last trip, it's changing slightly, and now they're getting to the point where they like the bigger rides. And one of my boys, they rode Tron this time, so I was like, we're going into that next like era of okay, now we're here for big rides as well, and that it's so exciting.
That's great. Yeah, just the evolution of Disney ride through a child's eyes. That's amazing.
Yeah.
How did he fare on Tron? Was it something you were going again?
He loved it, and I was so nervous for him because he's so tiny still, and I thought, I don't know if this is going to keep you safe. Like, and obviously it would, but as a mum, you worry. You're like, oh, these bars, like they're so, and it's such a different ride, Tron. There's no, it's such a different like strap to be in. Like I've never been in a bar like that where you can almost like stand up while you're going round. And I was really nervous for him, but he's a ride junkie and he absolutely loved it. And now he starts to moan at me if they're too small. Pirates of the Caribbean is now too boring for him. He doesn't mean that, but he's just like, yeah, he wants to be on the big rides.
Needs a thrill ride. Just give me Tower of Terror.
That's what he loved. Rock and Roller Coaster. Like he absolutely loved all the big rides.
Oh, Rock and Roller Coaster is a touchy subject with your brother at the minute.
It is, yeah.
With the Muppets. How about you? Do you share that same passion for the Muppets?
No, I like the Muppets. Okay. My brother loved the Muppets, and I like the Muppets, and I think they deserve a place in the park. I'm not as bothered as he is about them moving it, but good. And I don't mind them in changing Rock and Roller Coaster. I love the ride, and I will miss Aerosmith, but I don't feel the. I know some people are really, really upset that Muppets are going, and that Muppets are going into Rock and Roller Coaster. But I think they'll do a good job. I can't say many times they've ever not done a good job of an overhaul of a ride. And like Tiana's with Splash Mountain, I knew I would like it. When I went on it, I loved it. And they did such a better job than I thought they would. So I think just trust the process, Adam. He does not like that I say that, but I think it'll be fine. And at least they're still going to be there, because there aren't many young Muppet fans coming up into the parks either, so he won't be pleased about this part of the podcast, but that's how I feel.
I'm going to write down what time we're having this discussion, say before you jump on this, just as a little snippet at this point, you might want to go make a cup of tea at that point.
Yeah.
So outside of the parks, what about the Disney entertainment, the films and shows and so on and so forth? Was there a particular film or franchise that grasped you as a child, and then going forward?
Yeah, Beauty and the Beast was always my favorite. I remember I used to watch it especially if I was ill, I'd watch it like over and over again. But I loved Toy Story.
Yes.
And I remember watching Toy Story 2 in the cinema in America, and
Oh,
back then
nice.
the cinemas in America were so different, like
Yeah.
compared to our cinemas. Now ours are like that, but they had these huge seats and this big popcorn that you squirted butter all over, and like it was just so cool. And so I'll always remember watching that. But yeah, all the films, I loved all the Disney films. And even now, like of an evening, I watch vlogs. I watch people going to Disney World more than I watch normal TV.
Yeah.
That's just, I just want something really chilled in the evening to watch, and I know I'll feel happy watching somebody walk around Hollywood Studios. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I watch it.
Absolutely. Hey, we are exactly the same in this house. Honestly, it's getting to a point
Yeah,
where we're just like, do we need a TV license? Because all we're
I
doing
know.
is watching YouTube.
Yeah, and my kids, they love it too. They watch it all the
Yeah.
time. They love watching the vlogs.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, it's a gift and a curse watching a vlog. I'm not going to lie. I do love it, and I love seeing people light up when they go to a Disney park and the experiences, and obviously the tips that you get from other people going and the experiences that
yeah.
they're having. It's not great for the Disney blues, though, is it?
No, not when you're like post trip, like not when you've just come back or you're a few months and you know you've got a while to go for your next one. Then it's hard.
Have you got any faves that you stick to?
I love Adventures by Nap. I always
Yes,
watch Adventures by Nap. I love Adam Hatton. Who doesn't love Adam Hatton?
it's just the staple, isn't he? It really is.
Yeah. Who else? I don't know. You know, I've got a very long list, but off the top of my head, they're probably my two favourites.
You just see them on that recommended list, and you just, yep, I'll hit that one.
Yeah.
Travel
Yeah.
day, let's hit that one. I've watched a travel day for an hour, but let's watch another hour of someone else doing
Yeah.
the same travel.
Yeah. And like they're just getting on a plane, but I know how that feels, and it's so
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, yeah. Oh no, you're not alone. You are not alone. So brainwashing the kiddos is in full swing.
Yeah.
When it comes to obviously the rides that you're rattling through the rides, we're going from the small bits to the frills. What about shows and bits and pieces like that? Are they invested with the shows and also the parades and fireworks and so on and so forth?
Yeah, my one of my other sons, so if anyone doesn't know, I have three boys and a little girl. And my son Theo is Lion King crazy, and he has
Okay.
been since he was about 18 months old, and he's 7 now, and it's still his favorite thing ever.
Awesome.
Um, and yeah, so the Lion King show is such a firm favorite in our household.
Amazing.
Yes, it's one of our, like, we do it within the first 2 days of being there usually, because he absolutely loves to go. Um,
Has he seen both? Has he seen Festival of the Lion King, and has he seen the one in DLP?
no, he hasn't
Ah,
seen the one
okay.
in DLP because we actually haven't taken the kids. Now, obviously, I've just been to Paris, but we haven't taken the kids to Paris since 2019. It was pre-COVID,
Ah, okay.
because we've just gone to Walt Disney World instead. And so yeah, I don't think he's seen it. But I watched it this time while we were there, and it was really good. It was
Oh,
really good.
I've said it on this podcast and certainly the Disload that it's certainly my favorite Disney show. I
Mm,
love it. I'm a big Lion King junkie as well, to be fair. And
okay.
if maybe it is my line tinted glasses that say it's the best show that I've seen in a Disney park, but I just think
Mm,
it's
I
fantastic.
love
The
it. I
the
absolutely love it.
production of it all, the music,
Hmm.
the acrobatics that you see, it's just yeah. Anyone heading to DLP, that's a firm recommendation for me if you're going to see a show.
Yeah, I just really wish they would do a little bit around the theming of the outside of the building, because it's in that
Yes.
Frontier Theatre, isn't it? Is that what it's called? I can't remember what it's called.
Yes.
Frontier
Yeah.
Theatre.
Yeah, that's
Um,
right.
and I feel like it doesn't give it the justice of the show, because once you're in there,
Yeah.
the show's incredible. But I just
Yeah.
think they need to just do something with the outside to really just add that extra little bit.
There's been a few things like that in DLP. Like obviously the area's Frontierland, so you look at it and you think Lion King show in Frontierland. It's a bit strange. It used to be I remember it was like a cowboy themed Mickey and
Yeah, it
Minnie one
was.
way back in the
Yeah,
day,
yeah.
which kind of sets it up. And I also remember Phil Magic. I don't know if it's still there, but Phil Magic
Hmm.
went behind Space Mountain in
Yeah, it's
Discoveryland.
still there. Yeah, next to
Just
Star Tours.
just
Yeah.
odd. just very
Yeah.
odd. But
Yeah.
I mean, both, a great show and a great attraction, but just,
Mm.
the location of them does feel a little bit shoehorned at the minute. Whether they
Yeah.
change it up in the future remains to be seen.
Well, I thought
We'll
that because of the Lion King ride that's going to come
yes.
to Disneyland
Yeah.
Paris in the future. So I wonder if they're going to move the show to the other
Yeah.
park.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
Maybe.
so excited for the Pride Lands to come to DLP.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll be
My son
interesting.
is. Yeah.
Interesting having a water ride in Paris. We've mentioned that on the Disload. I'm not sure how that's going to work in the depths of winter, but we'll see. Maybe they'll heat the
Yeah.
water or something.
It was -3 when we were there a few weeks ago, and it was so cold. The thought of getting on a water ride at -3, it's not. But I would do it.
Might buy multiple ponchos. I think if you're going to go on it in the winter, if it's open, you never know.
Yeah, true.
So we've got a passion for the parks. We've got a passion for rides and shows and all that good stuff.
Hmm.
Something else that runs in your family, talking to Adam, is the passion for cruising. Do you share
Yeah,
AC's passion when it comes to jumping on a Disney cruise line?
I do actually. I
Excellent.
agree with him. No, my mum. So my mum and my stepdad got married on the Disney cruise,
Oh, wow.
and about 20 years ago. It was on the Magic. It was like we weren't invited. They went without us. It's a sore subject.
Oh,
They
no.
went without us. We didn't even know what the Disney cruise was. They came back and they'd got married. And we sort of nagged them about it over the years. I really wound them up about it.
Yeah.
And then on their 10-year anniversary, they took us all on our first Disney cruise. And it was the Dream at the time. And that was the newest ship out of Port Canaveral. And I was engaged to my husband, and we were planning a wedding abroad, but we weren't sure what we were going to do. We went on the Dream and absolutely loved it. And then the next year went back and got married on the Dream.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, and we absolutely love the cruises. Like, it's just part of our trip now.
How was getting married on a Disney cruise line? Like, it's a magical thing from what you see on the adverts, and certainly AC has sold it to me about how much magic you get on a cruise, but I can't imagine they must go above and beyond for weddings and so on and so forth.
Yeah. It was so cool. We literally just had immediate family. Like we just had our parents and our siblings and like their partners. So it was really small. None of us had kids at the time. So it was
Yeah.
like all adults as well. People were like, "Sorry, you're getting married on a Disney boat. Isn't that for children?" Like, and there's only 12 of you going like, "What are you doing?" And but it was amazing. And I wanted something. Disney has always been part of our life. Like it was really magical to us. We'd gone the year before, and it was my husband's first Disney trip with me, and that year before. So, and the first time was with a cruise, and it was just really special. And on the boat, they did everything for you on the day. Your stateroom was like full of like you chose your color flowers, and they laid them all in the room for you.
Oh,
And we
amazing.
there's like a little ceremony room like right at the top of the funnel, so it's all glass, it looks out over the top, and you get married in there, which is really cool. Yeah, and you can actually get married on Castaway, but I decided to do it on the non-Castaway day so that everyone that came with us could enjoy the island
Right, yeah.
the
Makes
next
sense.
day. So, but you can get married on either. Yeah, it was amazing. They had like piano music when you walked down the little aisle, and it was like you could choose what you wanted. So I had Beauty and the Beast.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
but yeah, like it was beautiful, and it was small, but just magic. And then we were back like at Cabanas in the evening, and just yeah, it was really fun.
Oh, if you speak about magical places to get married, that has got to be up there on the list, hasn't it?
Yeah,
That's incredible. And a story
yeah.
that, like, is going to be so unique to your family. How did your parents find it? Was there any comparisons to obviously them get married and you? Was it different?
They got married on the island, so theirs was
Right.
different. They actually
Okay.
got married on Castaway, so
Wow.
theirs was much more of like a beach wedding
Yeah.
than ours. But yeah, so and obviously it was like I don't know, must have been 11 years later, 12 years
Yeah.
later. So it was quite like a time gap. And the Magic is one of the first ships, so it was much smaller. The Dream was like at the time, not now because there are bigger ships, but it was the new big shiny ship at the time. So there's a difference in size. But yeah, I don't, yeah, I think I was. it was a really sore subject that they got married without us on the boat, but it all played out really well in the end because we got to go and then we all fell in love with it. And it is a bit of a curse because now every trip I want to be on the boat at the end of my Disney trip, and that comes at not a very nice price tag and you can't always do it, and it's an expensive habit, but it's lovely. It's really lovely.
Have you got a particular destination for cruise line and ship? Have you got a favourite? I assume that's obviously going to be a special place in your heart, the one you got married on, but is there an itinerary that you prefer?
It has to go to the island for me. It has to go to Castaway. So if anyone that doesn't know, Castaway is Disney's private island. They've now got a new private island, which I haven't been to yet and I want to go to. But my brother's done a UK cruise and my mum's done a cruise from the UK, and I know other people that have. But for me, Castaway's Island there's just no other place like it in the world. And I don't know if I want to be on a boat if I'm not going there at some point. Yeah. And that's what I find. Everyone says like, you'll love it. Like I've spoken to people and they're like, no, a UK cruise is really fun. And I'm sure it is. And I'm sure the magic is still there. But I would want to be on Castaway, I think, for me. Yeah.
We're exactly the same. Obviously, we haven't been on one yet, and we are certainly looking to plan one. We're hoping for 2026 because it's a certain wedding anniversary of ours. It's our 10 years. Mm-hmm. So we said we'd do something special and add that on to hopefully a Walt Disney World trip.
Yeah.
And when we were talking about the potential for 2025 or a few years past, we said about doing a Disney cruise, and we both got back to the same suggestion that if we're going to do it, and especially first time, we want to be on Castaway.
Yeah, 100%.
It just looks so awesome.
It's amazing. And my husband, he loves the cruises, and if you said to him parks or cruise, he would choose parks anytime. That's like, he absolutely loves the cruise. But I think even he feels the same, that he'd want to be on Castaway, or we're going to try the new island, and that might be really similar. So we will, that might have a special place as well, like that we might want to go to on a trip. But for the UK ones, they just don't appeal hugely to me yet. I'm not saying that we won't do one, but I'd really struggle to not be on the island. And I can't recommend the island enough.
Yeah, it's definitely in our future and hopefully near future.
Yeah, honestly, you'll love it, and the kids will love it, and your kids will be at a lovely age to go. And you can make the island like what you want it to be. It can be totally like just chilled and do nothing, but there is like, I don't know, like you're on this most beautiful white beach with the most blue water, but yet your kids are having pictures with Mickey Mouse. Like it's just so bizarre but amazing all at the same time. It makes Typhoon Lagoon's aesthetic look like nothing compared to the cruise. Like
I'm a huge Typhoon Lagoon fan, so if I love that place, then I can only imagine what I'm going to be like. I'll be giddy on Castaway for sure. How about your kiddos? Something I've heard in the past from people who are considering cruising or just parks versus cruise discussions. A lot of the time, the feedback you hear is, I don't know whether my kids are going to have that same sort of value going on a cruise because the parks are catered with rides and shows and character interactions. But how do your kids fare when they go on a cruise? Do they really enjoy it? Do they still have that magic?
Yeah, the magic is there exactly the same as the cruise as it is in the parks. The difference with the cruises, the character meet and greets are so frequent, and they are just everywhere all the time, and the queues are so small. In the park you can queue so long for character meet and greets, and with ride times as well, sometimes you have to prioritize. Okay, well, I really want to ride Thunder Mountain, but the queue's 50 minutes for that, but it's 45 minutes to meet Minnie and Mickey, and I'm running out of time and I have to pick one. And you don't have that with the cruise. There isn't that rush. That being said, my kids are split 50-50. Two of them would probably choose a cruise first. The other two are dedicated to the parks and would choose that first. They would still love to do both, and they love both for so many other reasons. But yeah, I think it has, for the kids clubs are insane. I've never seen anything like it. especially for the boys, because I think like having that Star Wars ships that you are sat in and you're pushing the buttons and you feel like you're driving a Star Wars ship, or you're like fighting Captain America in like an Avengers type thing. And then Ellen, my daughter, she absolutely loves the Frozen like area, and like you get character meet and greets that come in the kids club, so they're in the kids club, and then you'll pick them up and they'll be like, Olaf was in the kids club, or I made slime with Stitch, and you're like, oh, that's so cool. And like you didn't have to queue half an hour, he just came in and saw them, and that's like so lovely. And the shows are amazing of an evening. They are like Broadway level shows, they're great. And then also I think the evening, like one night we were on the Fantasy this time, and all the characters just came down for a dance party, and like they were just in the crowd dancing, and that's like magic that you just don't get in the park because they can't crowd control that. So actually there are snippets of magic that are just as magical as the parks. But if you said to me, gun to your head, you have to choose, I couldn't answer. I think potentially I'd sway to the parks because it's my forever, like I've always done that, but it would be really difficult to pick, and I think my kids feel the same, and my husband is not happy with either because it's a really expensive habit that he's married into, and it wasn't his choice. And now my kids are hooked. He's really in trouble because he has no excuse at all.
Once the mask gets you, that's it. You might as well just throw the blank check and say, just tell me how much it's going to cost, because
they take everything I have because I'm coming back every time.
It's very true. It's very true. And it's always after, as soon as you get back and you're like, those Disney blues hit. I don't know about you, but whenever we get back, and it was certainly this year for sure, you watch the vlog and everything like that, and of course then the algorithm's got you on YouTube, so every advert is, you can return to this magical place. Or how about trying Disneyland Paris? Oh, wait a minute, there's a deal on. Oh, okay, come on then. Let's scrape together the pennies to try and get a deposit for the next trip. It hooks you. It does hook you. It does,
and we brought our first DVC last year. I was going to say this year, but last year. And which is like, I know you're a DVC member as well, and like my mum was and my brother is, and I just feel like I just managed to like secure our lifetime worth of magic in trips, and that's just so exciting. But now I'm like point addicted, so I'm like watching all the time, like, okay, well if I do that, or if I move here, we could save this and I could bank those points next time or pull those points forward. And like trips are on my mind a lot. A lot.
Where's home as a DVC member?
I brought at Saratoga Springs.
Amazing. Team Saratoga, love it.
But I've never stayed there. I've been there for like 20 minutes. I walked around it once.
You need to put that in your future for sure.
So when we go in May, because it's like our first stay, as we are going to stay the first few nights at Saratoga Springs, because I thought, well, we've brought there, so we really need to stay there. But because there's 6 of us, it's really difficult with rooms. Because I can't just have a standard studio, and even a 5-sleeper studio. Once Ellen turned 3, that also became a nightmare. So Saratoga Springs was the best value for points, and we needed a lot more points than your average family of 4 need. So it was a no-brainer for us. And I've watched enough vlogs. I've been there to walk around it once. It's Disney. I know I'm gonna like it. I'm in the bubble, and that's my favorite bit. Yeah,
definitely. Oh, amazing. How many resorts have you visited through DVC?
Because my mum had a DVC, we've done lots of the resorts,
awesome.
And we've been really lucky that we've stayed in lots of the different DVC resorts. I haven't ever stayed at the Contemporary. That's not a resort that we've stayed at.
Same.
Yeah, but then I don't know if does it appeal to you? I'm not sure if it appeals to me too much.
Whenever I think of the Contemporary, I always think about being there in the 90s and travelling through it on a monorail. That's the only sort of relationship I have with that resort, unfortunately. I did actually a shout out to Weston and Sarah Holly. I was watching their vlog, Hollywood Studios, on YouTube. Weston's just done a little walk around of the Contemporary, and he went into a hell of a lot of detail with it, and walking around with him on a vlog, those pesky vlogs. It did catch me. I was looking around thinking, this actually, I could see myself in there. I'm not sure I could have seen myself in there as a youngster, but now a bit older and a bit more nostalgic, I guess. It may well be part of our future. Maybe Bay Lake, obviously, with a DVC membership, but yeah, I don't know. How about you? Not for you?
No, I don't know. The location is great. Like I love like the amount of times we've, parked there or, got the monorail and things like that's great. And I always like to nip in there and go in the shop. I always find you get some good nuggets in the shops in the Contemporary, like for when you're shopping. But when I've looked at the rooms online, and I've always felt that if you opened your door onto that, looking at the monorail, I always thought, I don't know if I would feel so much magic in that. It feels a little bit like a train station, a little bit maybe.
Would the novelty wear off a little bit? Yeah, I get it.
And the rooms never looked, inside the rooms, I thought they never wowed me, because they were Incredible themed, weren't they? Was it Incredible themed?
Yes,
I think?
yeah.
They never wowed me. However, I have seen Bay Lake Tower recently, some of the DVC side of that, on some vlogs again. And I have thought, oh, actually, it does look much better than I thought it might be. But yeah, that's somewhere that we haven't stayed, and I'm sure we will stay there at some point. Just because it's nice to say that you've tried all the different resorts, but most others I think I have stayed at. I don't think there's many that I haven't.
Does one stick out in the mind? Is there one that you think that's my top one?
I love being in the boardwalk area, either in the boardwalk or my brother loves the Poly.
Yes, he does.
Very much so. And I had never stayed there until last year, and I stayed there. And he was like, "You're going to fall in love with it." And I was like, I mean, it'll be like, I'll like it, but I don't think it'll win my top spot. But it is definitely up there, and I didn't want to admit that, but it is. I really liked the Poly. I just like the boardwalk area because I love walking into Epcot, and walking to Hollywood Studios, and I'm like, rope drop is like my thing. I drive my family nuts because I am there so early those first 4 days to like rope drop every park, and it's like a military operation those first 4 days. So from a convenience point of view, the boardwalk, I love being that close, and I love the boardwalk at night. It's really easy to nip into Epcot and just like get a quick service, watch the fireworks, and come out on my more chilled days, because I love the resorts. I say all the time, like, I could stay in the resorts and not go in the park. Like, just being in the bubble for me is enough. Like, I could do that. My children might not feel the same at that as me.
Same.
But I could definitely do it. Like, I love just Skyliner, resort hopping, different pools, like, and like being with DVC, you've been able to swim in the other resort pools as well. So it's so nice to be able to just, I don't know, hop over everywhere. And that Skyliner does give you such nice access. But next time we speak, I might say Saratoga, since it's my home resort. I probably should say Saratoga is my favourite, and maybe I will.
Team Saratoga, it will get you. Don't worry, it will get you. The recent refurb to Saratoga has leveled it up. It really did. The aesthetic before it was nice. It's cozy, it's very homely, and it had that community feel, which is very similar to Old Key West. But now I do feel they really have leveled up that resort as far as a deluxe value or a deluxe choice of a DVC resort. It's just, I'm biased, as you've probably heard and seen all over the socials for Devonshire Diz. We are very much certified Team Saratoga, and if that was the only resort that I had the opportunity to stay in, then so be it. I love the place, but I also appreciate just the ability as a DVC member to be able to go and see all of these fabulous resorts that you wouldn't necessarily have the opportunity to do so if you weren't. So it's if anyone out there who's listening is a certified Disney mad and like we are and enjoy looking at all of these resorts and potentially staying at these ones, then really DVC has to be a consideration for you, even if you are from across the pond.
100%. And I think having, like you said, the access to all the different resorts, it changes your trip as well. Like where you stay can really change the vibe of your trip depending on what you want to do. Like if you want to go really like intense, you've got to get everything done, it's like then where you stay doesn't matter so much
Yeah.
because you're never in your room. But when you go regular and when you're like a DVC member and you go often, it's really nice to have that like more relaxed vibe and just go in and
Yeah.
do a few bits and then come out and spend the afternoon like in one of the resorts. And then that's when the resorts really come into their own. Or like I just like to come out of the parks when they're busy in the afternoon. I like to like we like to go to a pool at either the resort we're in or a different one, like go and get some food at a different resort, walk around the resorts, like, and then just chill out for a bit and then go back in for the evening. And that's like my perfect way of doing Disney because
Yeah.
I don't like the 16-hour park days with kids. It's just not, it's different when you're younger and you've
Yeah.
not got the children with you and you've got the stamina to do that. But I feel like now it's so lovely to go in early when they're in their most, I don't know, how do you say it, more, they're more, they're less grumpy in the heat in the morning. Like they cope better first thing.
Yeah.
And then when they've had enough of the heat and it's getting too hot at lunchtime, like the resorts come into their own then. And I think you can just, spend so much time by the pool, or they've all got great splash pads for the
Yes.
kids.
Yeah, definitely.
I
Yeah.
love the Grand Floridian splash pad.
Yeah.
The kids loved, my kids, we did stay at Wilderness Lodge, but we were all really poorly when we stayed there. So I don't really remember us spending much time there, but I know the splash pad was really good there. The one at Kidani Village is great.
Yes. I was about to say Kidani Village's
Yeah,
splash pads are brilliant, isn't it?
yeah. You get bitten by a lot of bugs, so
You do. You
get
do.
bitten a lot. um but that's great for the kids. They love that. So I
Yeah.
think there's so much, and like just toasting marshmallows or just watching the Disney movie under the stars, like all those little resort activities, or like in Animal Kingdom when they do the where you can like feed the animals and you earn your
Yeah.
little wish. I think there was, is it called like a wish string? I can't remember what it's
I
called,
know what you
but
mean.
they do
Yeah.
a little activity every day and they
Yeah.
fill their little bracelet up for by the end of the week. And like there's so much in the resorts that I think people don't get to see because they're so full on in the park. So
Yeah.
if you are someone that goes regularly, I would 100% recommend taking some resort time and go and do all the things that they've got to offer, because there's so much there that I think people miss all the time.
Yeah. I'm with you. I
Yeah.
think I could easily fill up a 2 week trip with just resort hopping and
Yeah.
Disney Springs and
Yeah.
maybe a water park and just steering away from
Hmm.
the hustle and bustle of the theme parks. But I think Penny especially, just if she's going that far on a plane, she wants to be in the park to give
Yeah.
Mickey a hug and jump on a
Hmm.
ride, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Let's steer away from America and head
Hmm.
over to Disneyland Paris because
Yeah.
you very recently been on a trip over to DLP.
I have. We literally got back. I literally went for, so I went without my children, which people are still very confused at why I did that. But my friend, we both wanted to go, and we literally finished work Friday night, got on the flight, and arrived Friday night. And then we did like 2 full days, Saturday and Sunday, and got the last flight home on the Sunday night.
Wow.
So we did it in 48 hours. And it was really different to do it without the kids. And
Yeah.
we did 58,000 steps. It was so intense for those 2 days.
Not sure you'd make that with kids in tow.
No, but we did everything, and it was really great. So yeah, but yeah, we're freshly back, and yeah, we had a really good time.
How is it over there at the minute? Obviously, it's going through a transformation, and it really is top to bottom. We've covered it on recent Disload episodes where it's just we're not talking about land. We're talking about, well, a park and a half that's being refurbed. We're also talking about the village taking on a whole different form in years to come. Is the magic still there?
In the main park, in Disneyland Park, yes, the magic is still there. The Springs, well, village that will be very similar to Springs when it's done. It's not. It does feel like a construction site. There's no
Right.
getting around it. You've got like, you walk right up through the middle and everything is barricaded off. And like you've got Starbucks is still open. There's a couple, that Italian restaurant that used to be the character dining.
Yes.
right at the bottom of Disney Village. That's still there, but it's now this Italian restaurant. And then World of Disney is still there. And the Lego store, they've sort of squished in the corner. But yeah, and Annette's Diner is still there, but it's completely it's not got the feels. Oh, that's all I will say. I know it's like it really needed redoing.
Oh, it needed it. Yeah, it did need it.
I get it. I think if you're a regular goer, then absolutely go, because it makes not any difference to you. If this was your first and only time going, now is not the best time to go. And the same with the Studios Park, because that is, well, there's nothing left of it. There's like, there isn't much in there. Honestly, like it was the first time I've done Avengers Campus. So a positive I would say is I loved Rock and Roller Coaster, and I was a bit worried about, what Flight Force would be like. But actually, I think the overlay they did on the outside and the queue, they did a great job, because it's not even recognizable. The ride track is the same, and that's great, because I loved that. So I was really happy with that. If they could put Guardians music in it, it would be another level, because there's nothing better than Guardians. But I think they did a good job. And I thought the Spider-Man, the web singers was really good. And I think that's something my boys will really enjoy when we eventually take them back.
Good fun, isn't it? There's good fun.
Yeah. And they've got Tower of Terror. And I think Tower of Terror is better in Paris than it is in Florida. And there are not many rides I would say that, but I do think Tower of Terror is better there. And my friend, it was her first time on Tower of Terror in Paris. And I said, it's different and it's better. And she absolutely loved it and thought the same. She did scream a lot at the beginning, but she did really like it. And you've got Crush's Coaster, which is really unique to Paris, because we don't have that over in Florida. And that's still there. And they've got the Pixar shows still on. And then you've got Toy Story and Ratatouille. But otherwise, there is nothing there, and it's very wally. And you used to walk through the main studio, and that was your entrance. Well, now you're literally darting off to the side. You're just walking through the walls, and it doesn't have the feels. If I was going for the first time at the moment, I would say wait, just because that second park doesn't feel. And I know it's for the greater good, because it'll be amazing. And actually, we could see little bits of where they were building Frozen Land and things, and I think it will be amazing. But I wouldn't go right now if you're not planning to go back again for a while, because it does lack it. But on the positive, the magic that was amazing was the new nighttime show.
I was about to ask about that. How was it?
It was amazing. It was.
They know how to do a nighttime show there.
Do you know, I'm a huge Happily Ever After fan. I just don't think you can beat Happily Ever After. And some of that's nostalgia, because that was the year we got married. That played when I took my kids for the first time. That played. But the projection down Main Street was another level. And it just made it so magical. The music was great. The theme song was great. And I keep trying to find it on Spotify, and they haven't put it on there yet. And it's really driving me crazy, because I wanted it for reels. I wanted it to listen to, but it's not there. That's definitely worth a watch. That, just going for that alone it was really good. Drones, it's my first time seeing the drones in the park. I know at Disney Springs they had them. Yeah. And again, this is controversial to my brother. He thinks I'm crazy when I say this. I'm not the hugest fan of the drones, which not many people say that.
No.
And that's a bit controversial, but I just think there's so much magic in the projection of the castle and the fireworks. I don't believe it needs it to add to it. I think a drone show before it, when that was before, great. Or a drone show in on the other parks. Think about putting the drone show in Studios, or put the drone show in Florida, put it in Animal Kingdom. Put it in Hollywood Studios, put it somewhere else. And that's amazing that they can do it. But you don't need to add to the magic that's already on that castle, because I just think that projection, running it down Main Street with all the fireworks, they had bubbles coming out, it was so magical. The odd few drones just didn't make it for me. It was great, and it was but it just didn't make it. And I think it's magical enough as it is.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Interesting. I cannot wait to watch it. I haven't seen it on YouTube just yet, but it keeps coming up on my recommended. So it's going to happen probably this week, probably just after this conversation, because now I really want to watch it.
Yeah, but I tried to avoid it. I didn't want to watch it before I got there because I thought it's not very often you get to like do something really new in the park when you go.
Very true.
So, and it was only been on a week when we went, so I thought I can avoid it. And it's like Google heard me, because every time I was on TikTok or Instagram, like it was like, go away, I don't want to see it, like don't look. And I'm glad I didn't see much of it, because it was really lovely to watch.
They really do. Ads and I've both had this conversation, but we just think DLP, when it comes to shows, and especially nighttime shows, they knock it out of the park every time. Illuminations was fab, and there's so many over the years that when we've been going, myself, Lauren, and even when I was younger, I just remember the nighttime shows at Disneyland Paris really hitting so well, and I'm so glad that this one seems to be again another win.
Yeah, I think that Adam was saying to me that the projection down Main Street, we've seen it in California. He tells me, I can't remember, it was so long ago that we went to California, and apparently they projected it down Main Street then, and I don't remember it, but if they projected Happily Ever After down Main Street in Florida, I think you'd change the level again there, because if you just the images all around you, it was another level. And yeah, I can't wait for you to see it, because you'll love it.
Loz and I were surprised. We thought that Happily Ever After had those projections down Main Street.
No.
But yeah, I just couldn't believe it didn't, especially this day and age. And given that, California have had it, we just assumed that Happily Ever After would be the whole way down Main Street USA. But no, not at the minute. I wonder if it will. No. I'm sure it will at some point.
I think it has to now.
Yeah. Yeah. Did it, knowing that obviously Tales of Magic had the projections, did that change where you would normally stand for a nighttime spectacular? Were you further down because of it?
Yeah, actually I was. So me and my friend we wanted to record it because we wanted some content for it as well, but we both wanted to really enjoy it, and we split up to watch it, which we were there for one night, and we were like, oh, but what if it's better at the castle? And I was like, yeah, but what if it's better with the projection like down Main Street? So I went halfway down Main Street so that I could capture it from there, and she went right to the front of the castle where I would normally stand for fireworks and the shows, and she recorded it from there. And I actually think, looking back now, it was so nice and different to see the Main Street that I'm really glad that we captured that as well. And I think if I was to go again, even with the children, I'd want them to be able to see it projected on Main Street, and I would stand further back. And actually that really helps with crowd control, so it's a very clever idea. You need to be able to see the castle, because the projection's not exactly the same, like it is different, but you need to see the whole piece. And I think if you're too far at the front, you don't see the whole piece. Interesting. Completely changing the way people queue up and take a seat or stand anywhere to see nighttime spectaculars. That's really interesting. Yeah. I mean, how many times, I don't know about you, but I've made my husband wait in our space for the fireworks for so long, like 2 hours. I've taken the kids to get food and then come back while he stood in our space. And actually that doesn't matter then at Disneyland Paris, because you're gonna, as long as you're not like rocking up right at the end and you're too far back down Main Street. And Main Street's a lot smaller there, isn't it? So definitely. I think you can see it from everywhere, so you don't have to reserve your spot. We were in the other park and came over about 45 minutes before, expected it to be really busy, but we kind of knew we might stand further back anyway, and actually it wasn't. And I think that's because people weren't reserving spaces half as much, because also it was -3 in January, so it wasn't as busy as it probably was.
That might have been a factor.
So ask again in July, it might be different, but
yeah. Oh, awesome. Yes, definitely that needs to be watched sooner rather than later. In that case, you've definitely got me ready to watch that. Amazing.
You need to watch
it. Where is your footage going to land? Is it going to land on TikTok, Instagram?
Probably YouTube and Instagram.
Awesome.
I'm trying TikTok, but it's a bit, I don't know. I'm still learning TikTok. It's a bit
I
new
have
to
no
TikTok.
idea what I'm doing on
Yeah,
there.
there's no me
Absolutely no
neither.
idea.
No. And like I started doing a bit and then they were like, are they going to ban it in America? And I was like, oh, no, okay, maybe I won't try this. I might not waste my time. So yeah, mostly Instagram is where you'll find it, or over on YouTube. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. How have you found the whole social media side of being a Disney fan? Because it's a minefield. It's amazing to see such a vast community of fellow like-minded Disney fanatics like us, but there's so much going on when it comes to the Disney community, whether it's content capturing, whether it's vlogs on YouTube.
Mm.
How did you land in that sort of social circle of Disney fanatics?
I think I even on my personal Instagram before I started an Instagram, I just loved looking at Disney content. My newsfeed
Yeah.
was always full of it because I was always looking at it. And then I sort of thought like I love this sort of stuff and I love helping people do it, and I actually just wanted like a really Disney focused like Instagram, but I was a bit nervous to like start it because it is quite a niche and I was a bit like anxious around like what people would think or say. So to start with, I started my Instagram, but I just started a completely new one. I thought rather than turn like my personal Instagram into something Disney, I'd start fresh. And I actually blocked like most of my family and friends from following me to start with, because I just wanted to like just enjoy it and not worry about like people think, why is she posting about a mouse? Like she's 30 odd, like what is she doing? But actually now I don't care. Like I've built like a nice little community on there, and like it's growing, like slowly, but it's growing, and I'm having fun with it. And I think like that's what I'm like learning, that actually it isn't that much of a niche when you look at how many fans there are out there. And I was
Yeah.
so surprised at all the small accounts that I found and like chatted to on the way. And like we're going to Alani in the summer, and there's a couple of people I've met on there, and I've been like chatting to them, and they've been giving me like tips about what they found, like what they've done, and just I don't know, like information that I wouldn't have found on a vlog, and that it's
Yeah.
been really helpful. So yeah, I think if you love it like we love it,
Yeah.
like do it. Don't worry about it and do it. I worried about it for far too long. Like just do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I fully agree. It's how this whole Devonshire Diz sort of sphere that Loz and I found ourselves falling into
Mm.
was created exactly the same way. It was like we thought we're taking thousands of pictures on a family holiday to Disney, and we're doing it every other year or whatever. Like, got to put them somewhere. They can't just live on a phone. So how about like creating a Disney account? And then you realize, wow, there's so many people doing the same thing. And now I'm
Mm.
actually picking up information and tips. I'm speaking to like-minded people about what they thought was a benefit to them, what they probably would do differently on trips. So I think if
Yeah.
anyone, if it's a first timer, if it's a repeated guest, if you just love Disney, then jumping on this sort of community. And everyone has been so lovely that we've spoken to either on this podcast, people we've connected to on Instagram. We're still young on TikTok, and I don't know how long that will last because it's a minefield. But just yeah, speaking to people that are in this community is fab, and it's great to see everyone has that same sort of drive and passion for what is just a global enterprise, because it's not just America and the UK you speak to. I've spoken to people across the world speaking about, a favorite ride, or oh, I saw you had that at a festival in Epcot. We had that, and that was our favorite dish. And you're like, mind blown that you're having these sort of conversations with people that you wouldn't necessarily do in day-to-day life.
Yeah, and I think as well, you have started a podcast, well, two podcasts that you're like doing,
Yeah,
and your Instagram, and then you're doing your vlogs. And I think, I don't know, like it's, even if nobody else watches it, this is what I was
yeah,
telling myself, like if no one else watches it, all your family memories, all your pictures, all those lovely like things that you've experienced are there in one place, and they're there forever, and that's really nice. And I think there are so many people out there that like want tips, or they want to watch and enjoy from someone else. Like I know there's Disney Blues, but once you're past that, you do get a lot of enjoyment out of being like, you're excited for them. You're like, oh, it's their travel day. Like have the best time. Like say hi to
yeah,
Mickey for me. Like that's, I don't know, like not everyone else would get that. And it's really
yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah, definitely. You mentioned there picking up tips and helping people. as well as obviously being in this social Disney community, you have found yourself going down a particular route which significantly helps people by helping trip plan by going down the travel affiliate group for Disney specialists. Can you just shed a bit of light on that? Because I see it everywhere, and I got to admit, I'm a novice to all of it. So yeah, if you could share a few bits about that, that'd be fab.
Yeah, sure. So I came across a bit like you. I've seen people talk about it on social media, and I saw that they were like part of like a travel agent, you know, and then they were like specifically specializing in Disney. And like
Mm,
so many people, I don't know about you, but like people have like been like, you need to do this for a living. Like, why don't you like book people's travel and give them the itinerary that you use and like how to rope drop this? Because no one else, if it's your first time, most people don't have a clue, and like it's really
yeah.
daunting. And it's like, and I loved helping like friends and family, and like I've always got like my trip spreadsheet ready with like what we're doing on what day, like, and people would be like, oh, you should do it. And then I stumbled across it and sort of just like looked more into it. And yeah, so basically now like I'm a fully like atoll protected, barter protected travel like agent, but I specialize in Disney, and it's through the like also Disney agents as well. So it is directly with Disney that I do my training. So I've done like my Disney World training, my Disney cruise training, Disney Paris. So I can, you know, book for them and book people's trips. And yeah, it's like it's quite new in the background, and it's just sort of like it was more of a hobby. Like I'm helping people anyway. I might as well, you know, make something of it. And but with the hope that actually potentially that will grow to be like a second little income stream for me at some point, or you know, as my kids get a bit older, it's something that I can focus more on. And I'm really happy to help anybody that that needs help. And even if it's just advice, like it doesn't even have to be for me to like plan your trip at all, but just like sometimes just sharing that knowledge with someone can make such a difference to their trip. Like we've got
Oh,
some friends
absolutely.
going in a couple of weeks and they've never been before, and I just think I just was like, do you want some help? Because you're going to go, you've never been, and you're going to get there and you're going to be like, like I can't get on Tron. I don't know why I can't get on Guardian. Somebody help me. Like, and I feel like, yeah, just there's so much insider knowledge, and I just, yeah, I'm really happy to share it with anyone.
Yeah, definitely. It's a minefield, a Disney trip, right? Like for
Mm.
people like us who have been on multiple trips and have seen it over the years, this current form of a Walt Disney World trip has you looking at phones. It has you trying to book lightning lanes. It
Mm-hmm.
has the Premier Pass, the multi Premier Pass, the whatever name
Yeah.
they're going to call it next year, Premier Pass.
Yeah.
It's there's so much more to it than just punching your ticket to get through the gate and the way you go
Yeah.
in a theme park. It's there's a lot to take in. So having people like yourself who not only are qualified because you've had the training, but also have that passion and that knowledge and that insight and are willing to share it is just it's needed in this community. It's needed for first timers. So it must be
Mm.
really fulfilling knowing that you've helped a family out or someone going on a Disney trip through that.
Yeah. Did you do, sorry, you mentioned, we was talking about the like being on your phones, but did
Mm.
you try Genie Plus when you were there last time? Because it was Genie Plus then. Was it Genie Plus when you went?
Yes, yeah, it was Genie Plus. Yeah,
Did you do it
yeah.
or not?
We didn't. I suppose from our sort of trip, because Noah was a 7 month old, because Penny was a
Mm-hmm.
4 year old. Our focus for that trip was mainly the small casual sort of rides. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
something that, like for instance, we didn't get on Guardians of the Galaxy. We had a virtual queue for it. Unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
the day didn't plan out. Which gave us the opportunity to go in the window that we had the virtual queue for. I think it was like late in the afternoon, and by that time they were very Disney tired, so we needed to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
to the resort basically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we missed out on things like that. But as you mentioned earlier, we experienced other things that we wouldn't necessarily have experienced. Like we went on Grand Fiesta Tour like 8 times, and we went living
Yeah.
with Land multiple times. We did the Tiki Room a couple of times and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But to do Disney that way, you don't necessarily need to have that sort of Genie Plus life or the Lightning Lane
No.
or keep an eye on virtual queues, etc. I think when they progressively get older, we're going to have to start looking at that a bit more extensively, and no
Mm.
doubt we'll be coming to the likes of yourself for a bit more hints and tips of how we manage that side of a Disney trip, as
Yeah.
opposed to just jumping on the smaller rides.
Yeah, I do think though, like, I think if it's someone like me and you who are going to go regularly, I don't always see the need to purchase it. If
Yeah,
you are happy to do, if you're happy to rope drop, if you're happy to get yourself there silly early in the morning and rope drop, like those big few rides early on in the trip, and then do the smaller rides throughout the trip but at a chilled pace, and you know you're coming back, the pressure is not there. And I think
yeah,
sometimes we put too much pressure on ourselves, like, you don't have to do everything. There's so much stuff that I didn't do on my last trip, and I then this time I might think, oh, we didn't do that last time, let's do it this time.
yeah,
If this is your one and done trip, or you're going once every 5 years, or it's your once in a lifetime, then I think then it's worth the investment of those things, because you want to make sure that you cover everything. But
yeah,
yeah, I haven't purchased it for us as a family, and I think because I know we'll be there again, and I know that if we don't do it this time, and you've got all these years with the children, and let them do their favorite things, like you said, let them do the small things at the
yeah,
beginning, and then move on to the next bit, because actually there's magic in every stage. And
yeah,
like, I just think taking it easy sometimes, there is more in that than necessarily like rushing to make sure you get it all done.
yeah,
But yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
That's a good point. It is a good point. It's there's a lot of expectation due to, say, like the Disney social awareness that's
Mm-hmm.
around. Like, people say, oh, when you go to Disney, your Disney trip isn't a Disney trip unless you do X or unless you eat
Mm-hmm.
Y, and that could put a lot of
Mm-hmm.
pressure on people, especially people who are not necessarily going to be repeating it, like you say, so frequently.
Yeah.
And I also think a lot of the products that have come out recently, such as like Genie Plus and so on and so forth, are mainly targeted to those domestic guests that come down for a long weekend and
Mm-hmm.
then do need to pack in as much as they possibly can in the three
Yeah.
days and so on and so
Mm-hmm.
forth. So I get it. I get the reason why it's there. Um, I wish it was just a paper fast pass again, but that's just maybe
I
the
know, I
nostalgic part of
loved
me.
that. I know. Just like running to Thunder Mountain, putting it in, quickly get the tickets, run to the next one, off you go. But
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, I know. And to be honest, when FastPass Plus, that's what it was called, wasn't it? When it went
yes,
online the first time, I didn't mind that either. That was
yeah,
okay because it was still
definitely.
free. You could, but at the time, Avatar was new, wasn't it? And
Yes,
that was
yeah,
like the main one you
yeah,
wanted to get. And like, I didn't mind if I got that at 6:30 on one day, because like you said, if you're there for a few days, you'll just pop back in and do it
yeah,
for the evening. But yeah, it's getting more complicated, and it is a minefield.
yeah,
And I think once you know what you're doing, it's okay, but you've got to know what you're doing, and that's not always easy for a first timer.
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
definitely. So anyone listening who is a first timer, you know where to go. You know where to
Yeah.
go. Speak to Kristi. She'll be able to help you out on that first time. Make sure you pack in as much of the magic as possible. What have you got planned for 2025? Any trips upcoming after DLP?
We do. In May, we are going to Walt Disney World.
Amazing.
But we are going for 8 nights. I have never done that short of a trip before.
Okay.
We had to go in school term time, just like so, like it's the bane of my life. And
Yeah.
but we have to go school term time, and I thought, I don't know, we like I wanted to like use the DVC this year. Like we got the DVC. I didn't then not want to use it this year. So but we are going just for 8 nights. So it'll be really interesting to see what a shorter trip with the kids is like, and whether
Yeah.
they'll cope as well with. They're great with the time difference on the way out. It's usually the way back. Everyone's excited on the way out, and it's usually fine. I think it'll be totally fine. But I've never done such a short trip, so we'll see how that goes. And then in August we are going to Alani, which is
Amazing.
Disney's. Anyone doesn't know, it's Disney's Hawaiian DVC in Hawaii, which I'm really, really excited about.
That sounds amazing, and it's a bucket list destination for many, and I'm certainly in that pool. I really, really want to go there at some point. It's
Mm.
going to happen. Are you stopping off in California or going straight there, straight back?
No, we're going straight there. I did debate this. We did talk about it, but I felt like with it, because Hawaii's so far, so you've got like this big flight to LA. So we are stopping at LA, but just for overnight and then to fly again. But it's
Yeah.
like, I think it's 12-hour flight or 13-hour flight to LA. Then you've got an overnight stop, and then it's 5.5-hour flight to Hawaii, the other side. So it's a lot of flying. And I think we wanted 2 weeks in Hawaii because I feel like you've gone such a long way. And we have done California before. There was part of me that thought, oh, shall we go? Shall we not go? But because we decided to go in May instead, we thought, actually, no, we're just going to do May and then do Hawaii. But yeah, so yeah, we're excited.
Amazing. Has there been plenty of Alani vlogs that have been encroaching into your normal stream?
Yeah, definitely. It's actually harder though, because especially from our side of the pond, there are not that many vloggers that have been over and done it. And then the American vloggers, they do it really well, but they do it for like 3 or 4 days. They go for like 3 or 4 days, sometimes 5 or 6 nights, like not for a long period of time. I watched Paradise Falls Family, or another YouTuber that I have watched, and they went last year, I think, or the year before, and I watched their vlogs, and that was really helpful. And her vlogs are really in depth with like locations and like tips. It's very, very useful information, so that was really helpful, and I got a lot from that. But yeah, and the app that you need to like, it's like, you know, like in a park you have to book your dining reservations 90 days out. That's the same for Alani, but we in the UK can't download the app because you have to be in America to download the app, which is really difficult. So like to book things, we're gonna have to either ring or be online. And I did not even plan this, but I'm actually in Florida on my 90-day window.
Oh wow.
So I will actually be able to download it while we're there and book it. Everyone else at home won't, because my family are coming, so everyone else at home won't be able to. But I want to know how much magic is there. Like that's what I'm really intrigued to, like, is it as magical? Do you still feel that Disney magic?
Yeah.
Have you ever been to any of the other DVCs that aren't on property?
No, Vero is something that we're potentially going to do when we do the cruise in 2026, because we really want to go and see Vero and be on that coast. That will be our first. We've watched a couple of vlogs of Alani. I know what you mean. There's like snippets of the magic there, but it does it immerse you as much as it does seeing like a Walt Disney World or seemingly a Disney cruise line as well. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see what you guys think of it. Have you got any must-dos when you're out there? Because obviously they've got Dole Whip factories and stuff. They got taken away from Disney. Got the Jurassic Park excursion because it was filmed there. Have you got any must-dos when you're on the island?
So we're going to do the Jurassic World, because the boys loved Jurassic World. So they're really excited to do that. I saw actually on the Paradise Falls vlog, they went to the Polynesian Centre, I think it was called, Cultural Centre, and that looks really good. So we're going to go there. Just a few beaches. I wanted to do, the kids probably won't want to do this, but a couple of the hikes, because there are some like beautiful hikes where you can go up and look out over the island.
Awesome.
Most of it will be just like chilled. I want to see a little bit of the island and a bit of Hawaii, but I'm really there for the magic. That's what I'm hoping to like try that, to see what it's like and see how, to see what it feels like. And like, I think my kids are only really thinking about the shaved ice that's in a Mickey shape. Like that's all they seem to be fascinated over, is that there is shaved ice that's in the shape of Mickey ears, and they're really excited for that.
It looks good, to be fair.
Yeah, it does. And there's a few like DVC perks. I think they've got like some DVC like events they do during the week, and you can go, and there's like special character meet and greets that you don't always get, and you can go and collect a few little, like, everyone loves a free DVC token, whatever it is. But yeah. So there's a few little bits. So I think it'd just be really nice to try something different. Like I said, I've not done Vero Beach. Most of my family have done Vero Beach, but I haven't, and I haven't done Hilton Head or any of the other ones. So it'd be really interesting to see what it's like to be in a Disney resort, not on Disney property, and to see how that feels. Yeah,
definitely. It's going to be amazing. If we can entice you back on a podcast once you're back, I'd love to hear all about it and hear what that experience is like, especially from, given how far away it is, just that whole travel aspect as well.
Is it worth the travel? Yeah.
Amazing. The food's going to be good over there.
Yeah, the food will be great. Yeah. And it's very Americanized over there in terms of, like, they've got a Costco and a Walmart and so there's so much yeah, but we've actually only got a studio, so we don't actually have cooking facilities. We've just got 2 studios. So, but yeah, I have heard that it's very pricey for food there, though. I think
Yeah.
someone said it's $18 for chicken tenders and chips.
Wow.
And I feel like even for Disney tax, like that is pricey. So we'll see what it's like. But yeah, we'll come back and talk about it.
No, I'll hold you to that, definitely. And I can't wait to see all the footage. What are you planning for YouTube? We mentioned it off air that you were potentially going to start resuming that. You've obviously got a channel at the minute. With everything that's going on this year, you're going to look to capture some of this magic?
Yeah, I've always wanted to do it. I think I opened a channel. I posted like 1 or 2 videos. We didn't really do much with it. But like I have said this year, like we're going on some really good trips, and I think that I'd really like to vlog it. And I think my kids are getting like that bit older, and I wish I'd vlogged when they were little.
Yeah.
I wish I'd vlogged it, and I would just, even for no one else watches it, like I said, even if it was just for us, like we've got loads of pictures and like a few bits of video, but I think there's something amazing about filming your entire trip pretty much, and like being able to look back and watch it. So while they're still young, I really want to capture it. And even if 5 people watch it, that doesn't matter. Like I just feel like it will be, yeah. So it's something that we're going to do this year. That's the plan.
Awesome. I think that's the right mindset for it, really. We're the same with us. Like the videos that we're posting onto Devonshire Dish YouTube, they're all in portrait, they're not landscape. It wasn't made for a vlog aspect of anything, but we've posted all of these little snippets together and made it into a video, and Penny and Noah's still, not really understanding what's going on, being the age he is, bless him, but Penny loves it on a afternoon or a morning after school, and on the weekend just sitting down and watching vlogs, and she thinks it's extra special seeing herself on TV. So that's been a really good way of capturing it. And like I said, photos, they can get lost in phones, they can get lost in computers or hard drives and stuff like that. I'll never forget when we went over to Disneyland Paris in 2023 with a good friend of mine who also is a Disney nut. They head to Disneyland Paris every year and are pass holders at the moment. He mentioned it to me, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we've started recording our trips and everything like that." And just the memories you remember, the memories that you look back on when kids are kids and enjoying themselves as kids in Disney parks, you just can't take that away, and it's great to document it. So I think it's a great mindset to have for that sort of thing. I remember my parents back when we used to go, like when I first went in 91, we went 92, went pretty much every year in the 90s, every other year in the 90s. And Dad was always walking around with, the old school 90s video camera, taking his little cassette out, putting another one in. Oh, the battery's gone, trying to find another like brick-sized battery for the video camera. And you think, what are you doing, Dad? I just want to go on Thunder Mountain. Like, why are we messing around here? But I know somewhere squirreled away in the attic, he's going to have like golden footage of us as kids just running around Disney Park and loving it. And I can't wait to just fish that out at some point and just show our kids and say, well, if we can find a video player to start with. Once we can find a VCR, then we'll say, like, look, this was your dad when he was your age, enjoying the same thing that you enjoy now. It's pretty magical capturing that. Yeah.
I think that like it will live with them forever. It lived with us forever. Like I always say that, like, I know, I went to, my friends were like, I know, I was 21. My friends were like going to Malaga. I was dragging my friends to Walt Disney World. Like, it lived, like the magic lived in me, and I'm hoping that it will live in our children just like it did for us. And like it was like, I think it's so magical, and like how nice that you've shared that with your parents, have shared it with you, you'll share it with your kids, and they'll probably share it with their kids. And I think that's like, memories that will last forever.
It is. It's a generational hobby. Heading to a Disney park is the You could do with staying at the same price. Let's not keep elevating this, please. Can we cap it at some point?
I know, because they're killing me every year. every year. I was like Universal. The price of the Universal tickets. Now they've got Epic Universe coming. I nearly fell off my chair. I was like, that's the price of a Disney ticket. It never used to be like that. It used to be like a fraction of it, and you'd get the rest of the 2 weeks free. Do you remember? You'd go like one day, and then you'd buy a 1-day ticket, and it'd be like, you can come back any day in the next 14 days. Yeah. Not now. Now they want to charge the same amount as Disney.
Yeah. We went, I think the last time It was pre-kids we went to Universal, so it must have been
Yeah,
about
me too.
2018, I think it was. And it was a combi ticket. It was like one of the ones you got off like a third party site where you get the Walt Disney
Yeah, yeah.
World, you get Universal put in together. And it wasn't extortionate. It was
No.
justified at that point. I look at it now and I think, hats off to anyone who can afford to go on, multiple different parks in multiple different places. The
Yeah.
Universal, the SeaWorld, if that's your thing, the Busch Gardens tickets and stuff like that. It's just expensive. It's such a
It
shame
is.
because
Yeah.
there is value in all of these other places and there's magic in all of these places. But for us, we're first and foremost a certified Disney house, so we're more than happy sticking in a bubble.
Yeah, us too. I don't need to leave the bubble. I just don't even need to leave. I like the outlets. I pop to the outlets. Apart
Yeah,
from that, and a Walmart trip or a Target trip, and then I'm fine. I don't need to leave.
yeah,
And I can't justify the price for Universal. And I know there are some like big fans out there, and they're really excited for Epic Universe. And I just haven't taken the kids because I'd have to sacrifice my Disney ticket, and I'm not
yeah,
willing to do that. No,
yeah,
absolutely not. No, thank you. So I do think it'll be great, and I'm sure Epic Universe is going to be amazing.
yeah,
I just don't think it's in my future plans yet to go.
yeah. We're the same. We'll get back there one day.
Yeah,
Penny has been introduced to Harry Potter at her young
yeah,
age, and I
yeah,
think I can see already there's like a sparkle in her eye for Harry Potter. So I think at some
yeah,
point we're going to have to experience that when
hmm,
she's a lot older. She's
yeah.
bless her. She watched the first film this year, and she's at an age where it's
Did it
acceptable.
terrify her?
But I
Or
think
was she
no,
okay?
the second one I think is going to be one that will absolutely petrify her. So
Yeah,
unfortunately for the next installment of Harry Potter, she's probably got to wait about 5 or 6 years.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, my boys are, the eldest is 8 and the twins are 7, and to be honest, they've done 1 and 2 and they haven't gone past that yet.
Yeah,
Just because it does get, and like even with 2, they were a bit like, the snake's a bit scary, isn't it?
yeah,
And it is a bit scary. So and while they're not pushing it, I don't want to push it because then
no,
they're going to want to go to Universal, and again, I'm not
yeah.
ready for that conversation yet.
Yeah, no, I agree. Stick in that
Yeah,
Disney bubble. Stick with the Disney magic.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, Christy, it's been a fab conversation, and it's great to just hook up with yet again another like-minded certified Disney nut like myself. And I appreciate you jumping on and sharing all of the magical memories you've had, and also the magical plans you've got for 2025. And I can't wait to see it all on the socials and to hear all about it, and yeah, hopefully coax you back in to just have a great chat about all of the magical stuff you do in Walt Disney World and Alani this year as well.
Thank you. Thanks so much. It's been really fun.
Our Braden Adventures,
Yes.
Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
Yeah. All 3.
You all know where to find Kristi. Before I let you go, do like to end an episode with a little quick fire round. This or
Okay. Okay.
that, Mickey versions. Let's
Okay.
see. Let's see how you fare.
The pressure. Okay. Go.
This talking of pressure. This first question, I think, makes or breaks the end of this podcast. So no
Oh.
pressure. But
Okay.
are you left for Mexico or are you right for Canada?
I am right for Canada.
Oh, well, it's been nice talking to you, Kristi. I think
Bye. See ya.
we're pretty much done that. There's value in Canada. There is value in Canada. I
I think
I
it
like
so
my Mexican
depends on the
Donald.
entrance. Yeah,
Yes.
I love, but it depends on the entrance. We're coming in most of the time. My mum's home resort was Walk, so we're always coming in the international entrance,
It's fair
and
enough.
that's why. But yeah, I know it's the wrong way. I know. If I come the other way, I always go left. If I come in from the main park, I always go left, because if I'm
Yes.
coming in that way, we're going to Frozen first. So
Yeah.
I always go that way. But if I'm
Okay.
coming in the international gateway, I unless I'm doing Ratatouille, I'm going right, and that's I know.
We'll move swiftly on.
Yeah, change the subject.
This one's not as controversial, but there's a cult following on both. A Mickey
Okay.
bar or a Dole Whip.
Dole Whip.
Yes, Team Dole Whip, definitely.
I'm always Dole Whip. My children would be Mickey Bar, but I am a Dole Whip.
Favorite flavor?
Just the original. Like, I just don't
Yeah,
think you can beat it. Yeah,
yeah.
I love the original. I really like the one in Polynesian where you can add the rum to it in the float. I don't know if you've
Oh,
ever done that, but that is
I've not.
very nice. Yeah.
Okay, that's something to jot down after this.
Yeah, there we
Definitely
go.
rum and Dole Whip.
Yeah, nice. By the pool in the afternoons. Perfect.
Very nice. That's definitely in our future as well. Sail away party on a Disney cruise line or a castle show at Magic Kingdom.
all Castle Show at Magic Kingdom.
Ah, okay, excellent. That was the same answer as Lasky's Magical Memories when they joined us as well. They opted for the Castle Show, which is interesting. Team Mickey and Minnie, or are you Team Ducks, Donald and Daisy?
Minnie and Mickey.
Minnie and Mickey. They are the traditional, aren't they? They're the whole thing that started all of this crazy obsession of ours. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I do love the duck, but like Minnie and Mickey, yeah.
Who doesn't love the duck?
Yeah.
A daytime parade or a nighttime spectacular. You can only have one.
Nighttime spectacular.
Something about fireworks over a castle, isn't it?
Yeah, always. Yeah.
Thoughts on Fantasmic?
I love Fantasmic.
Yes.
Absolutely love Fantasmic. Always have done. And this time was the first time we took my children to see it. Because they've been too young before to stay up that late. It's always so late, isn't it? And they loved it too. It did stop halfway through, which was so frustrating. But they loved it, which it doesn't happen often. All those times I've watched it, it's never cut off halfway through, and it did. But they loved it. Yeah.
We're a Fantasmic household here. We do love our Fantasmic for sure. On a boat, would you pick Small World or would you pick, speaking of ducks, the Grand Fiesta Tour?
Oh, I'm going to say Grand Fiesta Tour.
Yes.
Because I've my stepdad has made me go on Small World. It's like more times than I care to ever go on it again.
It's one of those rides that I think you kind of have to do on a Disney trip to say, it's Small World and I've done it, but let's leave it at one. My Penny absolutely adores it, and that song is then just implanted in your mind for about 3 days before it really gets out. It's slightly painful after a while.
Yeah, I know.
Grand Fiesta Tour is definitely the right answer. I asked this one before as well, and I'm intrigued because from what I've seen, I think I might sway a certain way that I'm not at the minute, but a cruise merchandise or parks merchandise, specifically parks merchandise.
Cruise merchandise.
Yeah, see, it looks awesome.
Also, it's really unique, and I think that's I don't know, I spot Disney merch on someone anywhere, but there are so many versions of Disney merch, and lots of great small shops do lots of Disney merch and things. Yeah. But if I spot the cruise sign on something, I'm really intrigued because I don't come across many people in the UK that have got that see the cruise sign. And it's just I love it. I love the nautical vibe. I think cruise. Do
you have any of the little replica ships from your trips over on the ship?
We do, yeah. And actually, it's the first thing my son brought the first time we went on a cruise. He was 2, and it was the Christmas decoration of the ship. It's the model of the ship, and we had to snap the the hanging bit of the decoration off, snap it off so he could have it as his toy, because they didn't do that. And he was so obsessed with it, and he lost it in the sea at Castaway for a minute, and Adam, my brother, had to actually dive down and find it, I think, because we're we can't lose it. And I brought a second one. I needed another one. So we have got little ships.
So did Adam find the original?
I think so.
Oh, well done.
I'm pretty sure we've still got the original one. Yeah.
Good. That's uncle points right there. I like it. Well done. Well done. This, speaking of Adam, this is a big one, and I know where he sways. Joffrey's or Starbucks?
Starbucks.
Oh, interesting. How does that go down in the family dynamic of coffee?
Fun fact, I am plant-based. So for me, Joffrey's don't give an alternative for us. Right. So if Joffrey's, if they're listening, did oat milk in the parks, then I would probably have changed my mind. But for me, the Starbucks cup in Main Street with the Mickeys on, and they're it has the little Mickeys on the Starbucks cup. They sold me that because I'm a sucker for merch, and then B, an oat latte with iced in the parks with a caramel shot in it. That's just me every day, and I can't function without one when I'm there because it's my favourite drink.
Awesome. I do like the Starbucks merchandise, I'm not going to lie. Actually, some of those cups that you can get, the mugs, are pretty awesome.
We've got the mugs. I love them.
Yeah, amazing. Rope drop, getting up early. We had a bit of a spoiler of this before, or park close.
Oh, I hate this question because I love both. Oh, God, can't I do 50-50? I'm going to say rope drop because that's where, with the kids right now in our life, as we are, that's the best time for us. But I think as they hit their teenage years, I'm sure I won't be saying rope drop because I doubt they will be attending rope drop.
That's very true. That's very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And last but not least, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Tricky one to get on. Or another tricky one to get on, Crush's Coaster in DLP.
Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
It's a good ride, isn't it, Seven Dwarfs? It's just a shame it takes, 3 days to get on it.
Yeah, if you're not the first person there at rope drop, you forget it. Like, don't do it. Sometimes when the fireworks is on, you can get on it when the fireworks is on.
I bet that looks quite cool as well.
Yeah,
interesting.
It's much quieter. It's not dead. I think you still probably wait 45 minutes, but I think that's pretty good for Snow White.
That's mad, isn't it? We're saying 45 minutes is a good time.
I normally, if I see 45 minutes, I'm not queuing 45 minutes. Have you become a queue snob over the years? Like now, do you be like 40 minutes? Absolutely not. I'm not queuing that for that because I find myself so many things I won't queue that for.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. There's only a few select rides, and it depends on the day, the time, the heat, etc. that you would go for. But yeah, now if I see anything north of 45, it's kind of like, well, we'll try it again sometime, or maybe another trip if we need to.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah.
We went on it was Toy Story Mania, and that was we mentioned it in the previous episode, Lauren and I, when we did our deep dive of 24. It was, I think it finished at 80. We went in as a 4, and only Lauren and Penny ended up on the ride because Noah, halfway through that 80-minute wait, was like, I do not want to be in this queue anymore.
I don't blame him. 80 minutes.
To be honest, I could have tapped out at that point as well, so
yeah,
it was fair enough. And I got to walk around Batu, so that was fab as well.
There you go, see. But then you get to take it in. So
yes, exactly, yeah. And he was napping, so it was fab. It was absolutely fab. And as a big Star Wars nut, just having that, just to peruse around that was just, that's my magic.
yeah, 100%.
Awesome, you survived. How do you feel?
Yeah, good. Thank you.
I don't think there's too many controversies there. We might have to speak off air about Canada, but other than that, I think you're fine.
Yeah, no, it was really good. Thank you. I think this subject could go on forever. There's so many things that you could still talk about. Like there is, there's so many questions that you would ask a Disney fan, isn't there? Like, do you like Figment? Like, is Figment that you love it or you hate it? Like, there's just so many different things you can talk about, and there's always changes as well, so there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, definitely. That really is the hidden magic of it all, isn't it? It's just it's constantly evolving, and for what we have in a park, in a Disney film, in anything associated to the thing we love, there's such a variety these days that there's something there for everyone, and however you want to do your Disney trip or go on your Disney cruise or so on and so forth, there's certainly a path for you, whatever you choose. It's fab. It's absolutely fab, and it's the reason why we just keep going back and paying that Disney dollar time and time again.
I know. I always say I'm gonna have holes in my socks and eat pot noodles, but I'm going back. So
yeah, that's it exactly. Yeah. I can eat beans on toast every day. It's fine.
Yeah, fine. That's fine. Anything for the mouse.
If that means I can have a Dole Whip for 2 weeks, that's fine.
That's fine. Yeah, it's worth it.
Kristi, thank you kindly for coming on. I appreciate your time, and we look forward to hearing all about your magical 2025 and beyond.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It was really fun.
We appreciate it. Thank you kindly.
Bye.
A massive thanks to Kristi for joining me. Be sure to check out Our Braden Adventures across all the mentioned social platforms. Please like, subscribe and share this episode, and make sure you're following the Devonshire Diz over on Instagram, TikTok and YouTube. As always, thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.